What up, Demon Hunters? I am back here making another video for you all. I actually was going to make this video as early as I did, but I forgot that the leaderboards reset yesterday, and so I decided to key in A109 just for fun, and it happened to put me on the leaderboard. It was like rank 5 yesterday, but doing that, people tend to look at the leaderboard and they go, hey, let me profile these people who are, where they are at the time. So let's take a look at my profile here, because I've gotten a ton of whispers yesterday based off of that, because my build is definitely a lot different, not a lot, but it's definitely different than what it used to be. So with that being said, my whispers usually consist of hexing pants. Well, that's kind of the norm. This is what I always use anyways. It's kind of a staple for me. But the question is, how do I survive without goons? So I get that a lot. Moving on here to Bane of the Powerful. Why am I not using Straken? How do you kill a Rift Guardian? Then we go here to Legendary Gems. You see 118 and 118. It's kind of like, okay, it's not super high, so it's not like he's got a ridiculous amount of damage per se through the Legendary Gems, of course. And then you look at the Paragon, it's like, okay, it's not 4K, 5K. So how is he doing whatever he's doing? Then of course you have Arsenal, kind of a staple there. For me, I enjoy Fire. But they look at the biggest offenders, which is brand new for the most part, is the fact that I'm using the Hunter's Wrath belt. And that's kind of what this video is going to be about. But let's scoot over here a bit. So now we have Freezing Strike, which, everybody's kind of like WTF. It's like, it's not a 7 hatred generator, so why are you bothering with it? What sense does that make? Then you kind of go over here and you see Gloom, and then this is when you kind of just be like, yo, I don't even know, man. Like what, like how is this even a thing? But anyways. So you can kind of get an idea of why I've gotten all these whispers. But because I did, I decided to go ahead and make a video about this particular setup that I'm doing, and how you can take advantage of this going into the next season. So this is going to be about this belt. So let's close this out for a sec. And I'm going to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and, okay, so I do have it already. So I'm going to put Cinder Coat in the cube so I can kind of do this without Vengeance on. So we're going to talk about this thing for this Hunter's Wrath here. And like, again, I know I've trashed the belt a ton. I've talked about his mama. I put a kick me sign on his firstborn. I've done everything you can think of. I said everything you could think of about how bad this belt originally is. And it was, and it, still has its issues. But there's a technique or a mechanic that is available in most games, really. But I decided to apply it here and didn't realize that I can apply it here. And this technique is actually called animation canceling. And we're going to get into that in a second. But if you realize, the Hunter's Wrath, the generator attacks 30% faster, but the Yang's, the multi-shot attacks 50% faster. So when you fire, you can kind of obviously see that the multi-shot obviously attacks faster. You can literally see that with your own eyes. I'm gonna do it again. Yeah. So you can obviously kind of see that that there's a difference. Well, we're going to do this thing. We're going to animation cancel the generator into the multi-shot. Okay, by buffering multi-shot during the generator's animation. Okay, so when you do that, it looks a lot like this. Okay, so what you realize by looking at that is that now, with me canceling the end animation and starting that multi-shot animation, a frame or two earlier, I'm actually getting my generator to fire technically, okay, 50% faster. So the exact same attack speed as my multi-shot there, okay. And I can also do this with stepping. Okay, so why is this important? So why is this important to you? So, so the less time you spend generating hatred, the more multi-shots you're going to get out in general. So the game recognizes that animation canceling to be pretty close in breakpoints. So because it's like two to three breakpoints roughly difference between the generator and the multi-shot, the game engine allows you to be able to cancel that last animation to where the breakpoints are pretty much even. So with that being said, again, more multi-shots. More multi-shots is more damage. Like that's kind of just a standard thing. So so with that said, this makes up for the crit damage that you kind of lose on the witching hour because of the fact that you're firing your generator quite a bit faster than you normally would. As far as the attack speed is concerned, I will kind of give you a link below in this video to see to kind of tell you what I feel about attack speed with UE. You can read that there. I won't kind of go over it here, but overall, all in all, that if you was to do this particular technique, okay, you can bridge the gap and even kind of overtake and be slightly stronger than the witching hour in terms of offensive power, just because you're firing your generator as fast as you are. And because you are firing your generator quite a bit faster, the value of the 7 hatred generators, sorry, I'm looking at the thing. Yeah, so because you are firing faster, the value of a 7 hatred generator kind of diminishes quite a bit, which is why you don't see me use a 7 generator attack here. So I actually use Freezing Bola, and Freezing Bola is actually one of my favorites. But before I go into that, the way to make sure that this mechanic works, okay, is that you cannot fire Bola back to back, or sorry, not Bola, but any generator of your choice back to back, because you cannot cancel a generator animation into another generator. Okay, so you have to cancel the animation into something slightly faster, which in this case would be multi-shot. So when you're firing and you're doing your thing and stuff like that, just make sure that as you're doing this, that you don't fire a generator back to back. So therefore, you can keep up that same flow of attacks. Okay. So anyway, going back to what I was talking about before. So we have Freezing Bola, and the reason why I like Freezing Bola a lot is because it allows for some crowd control. The fact that it has a 50% chance to freeze upon hit kind of makes for some pretty nice crowd control. Like it's great on elites, and it's awesome on Rift Guardians because a frozen elite or a frozen Rift Guardian stops attacking, and then it also resets the cooldown of the skill that they were going to use when you freeze them. So it's actually pretty great in terms of just toughness in general, because again, the less that they're trying, the less that they can attack and try to kill you, the better, right? So also, it's also good for clumping up mobs. So with Freezing Bola, obviously the mobs they're frozen, and so the mobs behind them tend to want to bump into the frozen mobs. Like that's just how the AI works. They don't really go around them first. They kind of run into them and then try to go around. So the mobs that are frozen are kind of stacking up with the rest of the mobs behind, creating more opportunities for area damage or for area damage procs. So you tend to up your damage potential by using Freezing Bola because of that. Another popular rune of choice for this setup too as well is Evasive Fire Hardened. So this kind of doesn't need to be gone over, but obviously it's a 25% more armor for 3 seconds, and because you are using you're firing in between every now and then, you're going to almost have it up all the time, especially when mobs are kind of in your face. So Hardening is a really good choice here. Bitter Pill is also pretty good for gaining more discipline. Entangling shot can be a hit or miss. Kind of can't replace throw with entangling shot. I've done it for quite some time. It's a lot harder than it looks, and in my opinion, it's really not worth it. Also, other quirks that you will also notice by using Hunter's Wrath versus Witching Hour is that you also get all resistance and life percent. So it also makes you tougher because you get, well, things you couldn't get before. You get the the all res and the life percent to go along with that. So I would pair this with Cinder Coat because that gives you lots and lots and lots of RCR to kind of just be able to sit in fire all day, and just do your thing. So last but not least, but my favorite thing about this particular setup and doing Hunter's Wrath is that it's just downright fun. Being able to use a different generator other than just the standard evasive fire focus, or whatever, it's just more fun. Like it's just more fun, and also it's more fluid. Like I'm not bogged down by the long attack animations anymore. Everything just feels so fluid, which is honestly, in my personal opinion, is how multi-shot really should be. Like multi-shot really should be. So multi-shot really should feel fluid, and so this is kind of my current setup. I'm kind of putting this out there a little bit early before next season. You can for next season though. So if you're using Arsenal or you're planning on going Arsenal multi-shot, I would highly recommend using Cinder Coat. And you can also use Goons because of the Royal Ring of Grandeur. So you'll be able to kind of get quite a bit more toughness with this belt. You get more attacks in, and you also get to use Cinder Coat. And Cinder Coat has been one of those armor pieces that people have always kind of wanted to use, but just really couldn't use. And you can do it on non-season too as well. Like you can actually run Cinder Coat non-seasons without Goons if you want. But if you do that, I would probably run Boar. In your case, and then also run with Evasive Fire Hardened to make sure you have enough toughness to be able to get through the content that you want to get to. But being able to use Cinder Coat is an awesome thing. If you're doing physical, well, you can do it with physical. You can do it with Hex and Pants physical. For seasons, I'm going to be doing Hex and Pants and Mage Fist, so I'm just gonna go balls to the wall, damage kind of thing, and see how far I'm going to be able to get without having to touch Goons. But good luck for me on that one. I'm also planning on streaming, so if you want to check me out, hit the link below. I'm probably going to go into stream a good bit for at least the first 2 weeks of the season. You can kind of get an idea of how this build plays out in motion. I'm also will be making a video of this in action too, so therefore you can kind of see the things I'm talking about. And kind of just watch the smoothness of the gameplay. It's a ton of fun. I do not see myself ever going back to, I guess, my GG Witching Hour here. Like I don't even want to touch this thing anymore because it's just not. It just doesn't flow anymore. It doesn't feel good anymore. Hunter's Wrath just feels excellent. But anyways, so this concludes the video. See you guys in the forums. Thanks for watching.